So I ain't gonna lie, gang, I really just got on here and I just started making videos, which is cool. You know what I mean? When you first start on YouTube, you kind of don't know what to do or how to do it or how, like how you're gonna end up doing things. But somebody asked me, he was like, hey man, how'd you get into the dump industry? So I'm gonna kind of give you guys like a little bit of background of how I ended up where I am today. So the name of my channel is Raekwon 007, right? Because my name is Raekwon. Before I started driving trucks, I used to be a chef. Like I used to actually cook in like, not 5-star restaurants, but like 3-star restaurants. Restaurants where the chef has won Chopped, Charleston, and shit like that. Just pretty good restaurants. Like I went straight into cooking, like straight out of high school and shit like that. So I've been cooking for quite some time. And like, I had ended up, my girl at the time had ended up getting pregnant, and we ended up like getting ready to have a baby, and the money I was making as a chef, like it was not enough. Like it was not enough money. So me, my brother, and his daddy, God bless his dad, but we had all made a plan, kind of like a brotherly pact. You understand what I'm saying? Because we all had that type of relationship with each other to just go ahead and get our CDLs at the same time, right? I said CDL, I sound like some of these dummies. Get our like commercial driver's license at the same time. Now, with this, I think it was around April when I like initially got serious about getting my CDL. But long story short, the money as a chef wasn't enough, so we made the pact. Now, I'm the only one who ended up getting my CDL to this day. His dad passed away, God bless his dad. You feel me? And my brother, he doesn't have a CDL. He never went and got it. I'm the only one that went and got it. You guys remember when the world shut down, right? Like, to get people back on their feet, they were doing all type of vocational rehabilitation programs and shit like that. And they ended up having a program that was offering grants to a company called Palmetto Goodwill that would allow you to and pay for your CDLs test, because the school was actually called Palmetto Goodwill. Understand what I'm saying? And they were offering a program to where they would cover the tuition of your schooling to get your CDL. And all you had to do was get your CDL permit and pass a piss test. The piss test wasn't a problem. You understand what I'm saying? It's still not a problem, but the piss test wasn't a problem. Before I actually ended up going to school in April, I was still working as a chef. Now, I kept pushing it back because I was like, man, I'm gonna do it in 2 weeks. And I pushed it back. Man, I'm gonna do it in 2 more weeks. I need a little bit more money, because when you're in CDL school is for the majority of the day. CDL school is from like 6 to 4. So I was like, man, I just need a little bit more money because, you know, I got a baby. My son was living with me around this time. It was on some shit like, man, I can't just not work because his daycare costs fucking $120 a week. I had a car. I still got to make car payments. I still got to make insurance payments. There's no way I could just not work. So I just like, man, I'm gonna save a little bit more money. I'm gonna save a little bit more money. I'm gonna grind a little harder. I'm gonna trap a little harder. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. God kept telling me, bro, go to fucking school. You understand me? God kept saying, bro, go to school. He kept putting signs in front of my face like, bro, take your ass to school. And eventually I got so hard-headed and didn't go to school yet, I had ended up getting arrested. Now, what I got arrested for, you understand what I'm saying? It's none of your business. Now, I'll tell you. So I used to trap. When I got arrested, I had like 2.5, you feel me? 2.5 pounds. But I had got arrested and I never went back to the restaurant. It was a night that I got off of work, bro. And somebody had hit me up and he was like, let me get 2 zips. I was like, man, you know when you work in a restaurant, you get off around 11:30, 12:30 after closing down the kitchen, cleaning the kitchen just to come back at 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought that was crazy, right? But I will get more into that later down the story. But I had just got off work. I had went and grabbed some food from Checkers, and on my way back home, somebody hit me. He was like, bro, let me get 2 zips. I was like, shit. Let me go snatch this plate real fast, and I'm in the house for the rest of the night. So I go ahead, I put everything together. I jumped back in the car. I had went in my house. I jumped back in the car. I had put everything together. I jumped back in the car, and I didn't even eat my food. Like, I took a couple bites and I put it on my table in my room, right? I was living with my mom at the time. I had put it in a table in my room, you feel me, right in front of the TV. I had just came home, you know, ready to relax, eat, shower, sleep. I took a couple bites, took a couple sips of that Dr. Pepper, and I put it down, right? I ended up jumping in the car with the work, and the work was right next to me, or the weed was right next to me, right? So I fuck around, I'm driving and hit the plate. I took the local way. You understand what I'm saying? I took the local way because, like, I was like, they're not gonna fuck with me. Like, nigga, I'm a working man. Like, you know what I mean? Even though I'm doing wrong, I'm a working man. They're not gonna fuck with me. Lo and behold, nigga, they fucked with me. And the reason they fucked with me was because my tags was expired. Now, I've always been taught, even though doing that shit is not the right way to live your life, for me personally, I don't care what y'all do. For me personally, or like, other people may not agree, but for me personally, that's not the way I wanted to live my life, but that's the way I felt like I had to do it at the time. What the fuck was I saying? Even though that wasn't the right way to live my life at the time, and I knew it wasn't, I was like, bro, God, this is my last little bit. I'm not buying no more. Let me just get the bread from this so I can have a little cushion to take care of my son, and I'm not buying nothing else. Sir, I'm not going no faster. I'm really about to slow down. You got me fucked up, nigga. You tripping. You do this dumb shit where they think they can just ride behind you super close and it's gonna make me speed up. It's just gonna make me slow down, nigga. Fuck you. But what was I saying? That shit distracted me. Even though it wasn't the right way to live my life at the time, bro, I was under this firm belief that, okay, I'm working, I'm getting like an $800 check every week. 816, 3,200 a week. My car was like 500. My insurance was like 400. I was paying like 700 for rent. My son's school was about 480 a month. That's not including shoes for him. That's not including his maintenance because he had dreads at the time. His haircuts, my retwists. That's not including none of that extra shit that you need to live your life, bro. That's not including nothing extra, bro. So I was really like struggling. So I was like, man, this is what I'm gonna do. And I was getting good prices at the time. Lo and behold, I just thought it was the right thing to do, but it wasn't. Now, I'm a firm believer that when you're doing wrong, you have an obligation to yourself, bro, that, nigga, you have to do wrong right. You feel me? You have to do crimes the right way if you're gonna do crimes. In my opinion, this is how I used to think. This is a crazy way of thinking. But if you're gonna do crimes, at least do them the right way. Part of doing them the right way is, bro, before you hit the road, make sure everything is in order. Check your lights, your registration, your property taxes, your tags. And that is a step that I skipped. So lo and behold, my shit was expired. They ended up getting behind me. I ran. I ran. You understand what I'm saying? I ran. So I fuck around. I'm running from the police. I got rid of everything. Them niggas pulled me over. They end up still finding the shit. I was like, bro, you didn't even have to fucking run. But I don't know if you know, but if you run from the police, if you don't do a certain excess of speed, if you're not driving excessively fast, and if you're not if you don't cause no property damage, it's just a failure to stop for blue lights, and it's a misdemeanor. Property damage, felony. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't tripping about that. I was like, they're not about to find this. I thought I ducked it off, but it was an undercover, like, just, you feel me, doing his patrol in the area I had spun. So the nigga had ended up helping them. I was like, nah, there's no way. After that, I was like, yeah, I'm done. That's not even the first time I got in some shit like that, bro. That was the last time, the most recent time, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, nah, I'm done. So I came home. You feel me? I only took 2 zips. I still had some shit to do, some shit to play with. I was just like, nah, bro, this is it for me. So I just let it go for a discount. I just gave that shit to somebody for a discount because I didn't want to. I took a loss, but I gave it to somebody for a discount, and I just ended up going the next day and calling the lady from the school and just asking her, hey, what do you need for me to sign up for school? And she ended up telling me, hey, you need to be able to pass a piss test. You need to get your permit, or within 2 weeks of the class starting, you need to have your permit, or you're gonna kick you out the class. I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up doing that. Now, CDL school, it's a requirement of a certain amount of time, classroom time, a certain amount of time of driving on the road, and a certain amount of time doing maneuvers, like backing maneuvers, like offset backing, parallel parking. We didn't do the alley dock at the time. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just, that's kind of how that went. once, like a week before I finished my maneuvers part of the CDL school, somebody who came, when I say somebody, I didn't know him at the time. The nigga name is Pedro. He came to the school, and he came because he had failed his test, and he was coming back to like get some more practice, which my instructor was cool. He was coming back to get some more practice, and I was like, bro, what's up with you done found you a job? You understand what I'm saying? You done found what you about to do? He's like, nah, but I think I'm about to do a dump truck. I said, why a dump truck? He started telling me, bro, they hired you out of school with little to no experience. Yeah, you might drive an old beat up truck, but you can build your experience and then go to the company you really want. And at the time, I didn't even know anything about the dump truck industry. I thought that you had to go over the road to get your experience and then come back local, and that shit would have fucked me up, because like I said, my son was living with me. How am I gonna go over the road as a new driver? I'm gonna have to have a trainer, and I got this 3-year-old little boy with me. I was stressing, bro. I didn't know what to do, so I ended up getting into a dump truck. I was like, oh man, God was just continuing to bless me. So I was like, okay, this has to be the right path for me. So I just stuck with it, and I ended up going with one company. I was with them for about a year. A little under a year, but the checks weren't even that good. You know what I mean? But I was just so excited because they were more than my $800 cooking check, and I was getting paid to get experience. And they was letting my son ride with me. He would, you know what I mean? So, hell yeah. So I stayed. It was a situation with me and the owners, the dispatcher's brother. This nigga name was Jeff. I think that nigga was on meth. You understand what I'm saying? It was a situation with me and him. Bro, this nigga came like geeked up, or he wasn't able to get geeked up, and he came talking crazy, and I spazzed, like I flashed out on him. Like I spazzed and I quit. Now, when you're driving a dump truck, it's very easy. Like most dump truck companies, they have their name and their DOT number on the side of their truck. I was always under the impression that, bro, I always spoke to people. Like, I'm not a real talkative person, but I will speak to people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me text this girl back before she cancel on me. I made her cancel her situation to fuck with me, and she tight because, let me just talk to this girl, man. Yeah, bro, so, where's that at? So yeah, I'm not the most talkative person, but bro, I talk to people. So on the job, before I flashed out on Brother Man, on the dude that was doing meth, before I flashed out on him, I used to talk to people, and people from different companies, like, hey man, how is it over there? Like, what type of jobs do y'all run? What do y'all typically run? What are y'all hours? What is the pay like? What is the work environment like? And I always do that, and to this day, I still do that, because if shit goes sour, oh my God, I'ma have me a job. You feel me? That nigga all in his phone. I'ma have me. You understand what I'm saying? So I had found a company that I was talking to the dude. Now the dude I was talking to, the shit was so funny because the nigga had a crazy stutter, but he was cool. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he was real cool. And like, you know, my partner, we used to just joke around a lot. Like, the nigga had a crazy stutter, but he would curse you out with a stutter. The shit was the funniest shit ever, bro. The shit was so funny, bro. He would curse you clean out with a fucking stutter, and you would understand everything he says, bro. Oh God. But long story short, I ended up talking to him. He told me his company pretty good. So this same company, when I left the company that I originally had first started with, I was like, man, fuck this nigga. And I ended up going on that same website. I plugged in the DOT number, and I found out the physical place of business. Turns out it was the owner's home. nice ass house. So I went and I talked to him. He was like, yeah, man, that dude that you just quit, he used to work for me. He was like, yeah, he used to steal from me. I was like, God damn. He was like, yeah, man, if you want a job, just go ahead and call this number. And this is the dispatcher. He's like, go ahead and call this number, and we'll get you like on board. We'll get you situated. Shook that nigga hand, looked him in his eyes, and I said, thank you. Slid. Still with the same company. You understand what I'm saying? Finding a job in the dump truck industry, it might be easier than finding a regular job because they're more lenient. Because a lot of people don't want to do this work, bro. A lot of times, it's dirty, it's muddy, the hours are long, it's bumpy, it's hard on your body, it's hard on your lungs, like, it's dusty, it's stanky. You're in places where you may get stuck, you may turn over, you can flip the truck easier. It's like, it's not the perfect working environment, but for me, this shit is so much fun. It is such an easy job. Don't get easy confused with stressful, but it is a easy job. Easy job. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man. But it was definitely worth it. But that's kind of how I got my start in the dump truck industry. And how I used to do that shit, bro, is I don't work Saturdays no more. But when I first started working, bro, I'm a firm believer that you have to work so hard. When you first start working at a new place or a new job or a new trucking company, you have to work so hard that they have to wonder, how the fuck are you doing what you do? You understand what I'm saying? To the point that they will never question your ability to get the job done no matter the circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? You have a lot of leeway. And that's kind of what I did with my son in the truck. He was riding with me 22-hour days in the truck, sleeping in the truck. It was a point in time where I had a day cab tractor trailer, and I had ended up getting a hammock to lay across the top. I had a hammock to lay across the top. It was called a day cab lounge. I'm not getting that nigga no free promo. It was a hammock that I had got to lay across the top because there was a job in Savannah that we used to run. It was 24 hours. We didn't run it 24 hours, but it was 24 hours, so you can come and go as you please and just stack that money. My son used to, on this same route, my son fell in love with the QT, so he was asking me about the QT 2 years after I stopped going to Savannah. I had great memories of my son in the truck, so that's why I'm so in love with the dump truck industry, and why I feel like this is probably either this or I'll drive a 18-wheeler record, like the 18-wheeler tow truck, and I got a company in mind if shit don't work out here, and that's probably the only trucking that I'll do. I'm not doing hazmat, I'm not doing tanker, I'm not doing doubles, I'm not doing triples, I'm not doing passenger, I'm not doing I'm not doing none of that shit, man. I'm not doing none of that shit. Well, God, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna do none of that shit because you're gonna humble me. I would prefer not to do none of those things. You understand what I'm saying? I would prefer everything to work out how it's been working out, and I know it will. And that's basically how I got into the dump truck industry and how I be making these videos to this day.